I think you have 1433, is that correct?
Correct.
Please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you for letting us have some dialogue today, so I appreciate that.
Of
Madam
course.
Chair. 15 years ago, I found myself in San Diego taking the Trustees Master Program with the International Foundation of Employee Benefit Plans. It's a program provider that trustees like myself at the time when I was on the Orange County Employment Retirement System offered. So it was a fun conference. But it was not too long after SB 400 passed, and I had trustees from around the country, and I said, "You won't believe we went from 2% at 50 to 3% at 50. What kind of ideas should we be looking at? Because we've experienced a major brain drain. We've watched just a lot of people wait until they turned 50, and then waited until the improvement was made and became effective. Then we just had wonderful command staff and senior officers leaving in droves. So how do we retain these incredible people? And so we discussed this at length, because how do you tell your spouse, well, I could stay as a public safety officer because that's what I love, but I only bring home 10% more than if I retired. So sharing that stimulated discussion, the proposal came up that, there's a thing called a drop plan. You ought to do a deferred retirement option program. And so we found ourselves having an incredible, robust discussion on a drop plan. And I thought to myself, well, this makes sense. You can kind of keep them for 5 more years. But I thought to myself, this is not the solution. If this is the solution, we're going to be in trouble. So colleagues, we've seen the recent stories, hopefully in the Los Angeles Times, on drop plans, and they're exacerbating the existing pension crisis. Your consultant staff report provides a concise explanation of what a drop plan is and how it works. Simply, in an employee's last 5 years with the municipality, they receive their salary and their pension. The pension benefits are deposited into a trust and earn an attractive rate of interest. At the conclusion of the 5 years, the trust distributes the final balance with the compounded interest. So I fully understand the motivation and the implementation of this plan. I can see why it is used and how politically difficult it is to discontinue allowing drop plans as a management alternative. But this strategy for police officers and firefighters has been exposed by the LA Times as a financial no-brainer, thanks to a program that allowed employees to nearly double their pay by keeping their salaries while also collecting their pension. The final payouts can be staggering and are very difficult for our constituents to fathom or digest when they're published. When you add to this the high rates of those on disability, and this program becomes almost impossible to justify. For example, I quote the LA Times, former police captain Darrell Russell, who collected $1.5 million over 5 years in the program, missed nearly 3 of those years because of pain from a bad knee, carpal tunnel, and multiple injuries he claimed he suffered after falling out of an office chair. Colleagues, I am in no way inferring that this captain is abusing the system. It is the system that is wrong. It needs to be fixed. This is why SB 1433 eliminates drop plans altogether. Let's stop the perception of abuse. Let's eliminate a temptation that should never have been there in the first place. The experience studies for drop participants in Los Angeles between July 2008 and July 2017 is not pretty. 5 points. 1, police and firefighters in the drop program were nearly twice as likely to miss work for injuries, illness, or paid leave. 2, those taking disability leave while in drop missed a combined 2.4 million hours of work for leaves and sick time and were paid more than $220 million for the time off. 3, more than a third, 36% of police officers who entered the program went out on an injury leave. At the fire department, it was 70%. 4, the average time off for those who took injury leaves was nearly 10 months. At least 370 missed more than a year. This comes at a very steep cost. In point 5, in addition to the salary and pension payments, leaves taken by drop participants create a third cost for taxpayers. The fire department pays overtime to fill their shifts. The police department requires other officers to cover their work. I want to thank the LA Times reporters Jack Dolan, Gus Garcia Roberts, and Ryan Menendez for their investigatory work. On April 15th, the Sunday LA Times California section top headline was enrollment and drop surges amid questions. Of course, you might as well get in as quick as you can before it's gone. Colleagues, LA is realizing that drop plans are a mistake. Sacramento should too. It should take a leadership role in totally discontinuing this unique strategy. This legislature needs to help local governments help themselves in addressing the pension crisis. I respectfully request and I vote.
Thank you, Senator Morlock. Others in support? Seeing none, anyone in opposition?
Where's Terry? No, you're not Terry.
I think they're at the other committee. Madam Chair, Ryan Sherman with the Riverside Sheriff Association. Our members are not, they don't have access to a drop program. However, we would like it in the future if possible. These have all been collectively bargained for in the past. If there are abuses in the system, we would encourage that there be some kind of crackdown. There's no need to throw out this program that allows a lot of our very experienced members and officers to continue their work and to train the new recruits that are coming in. And so for that reason, we are opposed the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in opposition? All right, I'll bring it back to the committee. Senator Portantino?
I'll give you a courtesy motion if you want.
Why not?
All right.
You're
So
very
we-
gracious, Ms.
I
Senator
try.
Portantino.
So we have a motion which is due pass to appropriations. Excuse me, due pass to the Senate floor. Please call the roll.
Pan, Morel, Leva,
No.
Leva, no. Morlock?
Aye.
Morlock, aye. Portantino?
No.
Portantino, no.
The motion fails. Would you like reconsideration?
Please.
Can we call the roll on reconsideration, or do we have to wait for Senator Pan to come back? I'm sorry, it's still open until he
Great.
gets back.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.